Welcome everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Gopal, I'm a German trauma specialist and spiritual medium. In this video I will explain the stages of development of our consciousness, what developmental trauma means, what healing means, several stages. And then you have a nice simple overview where you are, where your clients may be. It's like a landscape. A certain perspective. There are many perspectives, of course. This is my view and it may be helpful for you. So what I see, there are three main stages. The first stage is the stage of struggle and survival. So the second stage is the level of communication and relationship. And the third stage is the level of consciousness, awareness, and integration. And we could say spirituality. So we have survival, relationship, and spirituality. And it is, if I explain these three stages or three levels, you will probably see, if you interact with people, at which stage they are. Then it's very easy to see. Well, no, it's not really easy, but you can see at which stage someone is. So let's start with the first stage. The stage of fighting for survival. This is actually the stage of being traumatized and suffering from developmental and or attachment trauma. So the person is subconsciously or rather subconsciously believing that he or she is still in danger, and that means that the physical survival is in danger. This is how people perceive themselves and the surrounding without being aware of it, usually, because the nervous system has been in such a stage since childhood, so they don't know anything else, as long as they are not healed and transformed, and as long as they don't know even the context that they suffer from developmental trauma. And there are many people, I would even say the most people at that time here, they are not aware that they suffer actually from developmental trauma. But this is another topic for another video. So basically the nervous system is struggling, is fighting for survival, and you have a high stress level in the nervous system, and that can be in such a way that people are very active, actually too active, or that you see something like shutdown or giving up. So I will not explain in detail what's going on there. That would take too long. This video is just about the overview. So basically you can see people with high stress or like dead bodies. So these two, this is what you can perceive. And the core reason for that is, as I said, the subconscious belief that they are still in life danger, which is not the case. As a grown up, if you have left the family, it's not reality. So this is the stage of developmental trauma, of not healed developmental trauma. Then the next stage, if someone is doing therapy and reading books about trauma, and he gets the context and begins to understand what's in which situation he is, and with the help of a therapist, he realizes that there's no life threat anymore, and that he has not the capacity to relate and interact actually. So this is what can be learned in therapy, that connection, interaction, relationship does not mean danger. And it does not mean that there's no one. And so this is the level of relationship, of healing. So the person slowly gets more relaxed in the body, starts to perceive things differently. Yeah, before everything was a threat from their perspective, or that there's no one. Yeah. And at that stage, people realized that it's possible to interact, that there are people with whom I can interact, and that interaction, contact, and relationship does not necessarily mean a life threat. In fact, the more someone heals, the more he experiences that as nourishing, as joyful. Yeah, so in the first stage, contact was experienced as dangerous or impossible, a threat. And at that stage, the person realized the more I interact, the more I get in contact with people, the better I feel. And yes, you also make negative experiences, but even these help to feel better. Yeah, because also negative experiences are experiences of contact. And before, in the stage of survival, there's no contact possible. Yeah, the person is in a way alone. Yeah, fighting for survival alone. And in the second stage, the person is not, yeah, from his perspective, is not alone anymore, and he starts to interact. And this is the whole transformation. And of course, from stage 1 to stage 2, this is for therapists, this is a very complicated process, very difficult to help people from to realize that the contact with a therapist does not mean a life threat, and that someone is there. Yeah. So anyway, second stage. So the life begins. Yeah. Before it was has nothing to do with life, just with survival. And in the second stage, the person starts to live, and because living means interaction, communication. Yeah, from survival to sharing what's there and listening what people say and experiencing contact with the world. So, stage 2. Stage 3 is the level of consciousness. So at that stage, the person even leaves the level of relationships and interaction and communication. But it's not really leaving that stage. It's more like, it's not that the person doesn't interact with the world and with other people or has relationships. It's more that disidentification happens. So in the second stage I just described, the person realizes that he really needs connection and interaction and communication to feel well. Yeah. In the third stage, the person realizes that he's just consciousness, and yes, it feels better to be in contact with the world, but it's not the main point anymore. Yeah, the main point is presence. The main point becomes presence, and in a way non-acting. In the second stage, or let's explain it in a different way, from the first stage to the second stage, the crucial thing is that the person realizes that he can act. Yeah, the first stage is a state of a passive helplessness, and in the second stage, the person realizes, I can act, I can change things, I can do something that I feel well, and I have understood it's all about relationship and interaction and communication and closeness and independence. Yeah. So the active person is there consciously creating its life so that he feels well. And in the third stage, it's kind of letting go the conscious, purposeful acting. So you become more and more, it's not that you become, but you realize that you actually are more like a witness, like a spectator. So it's more that you watch your life, what happens automatically. Yeah, so it's more about integration, consciousness, awareness, presence, letting go, meditation. So you see that you do not really depend on relationships, and that an ever higher state of fulfillment and happiness is possible by remaining in the presence. And this remaining in the presence mean that your conscious acting gets more and more into the background. You are just here watching, instead of doing and acting. And this has nothing to do with a passive state. It's not passive. It's just watching what's happening. Things happen continuously. You do things, you interact, you go into relationships and so on. But you see that you are actually that things happen automatically, and you are actually just a witness. So I see these 3 stages, and from the first to the second is healing from developmental trauma, establishing the capacity to be in the world, to interact with the world in a healthy way. And from the second stage to the third stage is the transformation from relationship to consciousness. So this is how I would describe it. Yes, so. And meditation makes sense from my perspective only if you're moving into the third stage. If you want to meditate without being able to relate to others, then this can be a trap, and this meditation actually cannot happen, really, because what is meditation? Meditation is just relaxation of the autonomous nervous system and the mind. That's all. That's meditation. And you cannot relax your autonomous nervous system and your mind as long as the subconscious believes that you are in danger, or that you cannot interact with people. So there will always be stress in the nervous system. So this has to be solved first, and then you automatically move into meditation, into pure presence. So these are the 3 stages I see.